So, what the hell is going on in Oakland, California? My God, my God, my God. If I was a fan of any of those teams in the AFC West, i.e., the Kansas City Chiefs, the San Diego Chargers, the Denver Broncos, I would just be laughing and giddying my ass off. But as a fan of not only the New England Patriots, but of the NFL itself, because I love the game, I love the league. It's got its pitfalls for sure. It could be improved upon, but love the game as well as anything. Um, it is a sad state of affairs in Oakland. Antonio Brown. Now, here is a guy, you know how we talk about there's certain athletes that if you want to teach your kids how to conduct yourself as an athlete, how to conduct yourself professionally, guys like Gretzky, Bobby Orr, Dustin Pedroia in baseball. You want to talk about Cito Gaston as a manager, for the Toronto Blue Jays. A lot of hockey guys. That's one thing I'll say about hockey. They probably got the best overall group of athletes in their league for the way they conduct themselves. Not saying they're perfect. There is instances, but they're very rare in the National Hockey League. So a tip of the cap to the players in that league. But this NFL and NBA goes back to, our discussion yesterday. We were talking about contracts and the ridiculousness of what some of these guys get is outrageous. With stories about what's happening right now in Oakland with Antonio Brown. Craziness. Now he's being fined and suspended by Oakland for not showing up for camp over different things. And I quite frankly don't blame them. But at the same time, it's pretty hard to feel sorry for the Oakland Raiders when, in fact, you are still perhaps the most poorly run franchise in all of football, maybe in all of sports. I'm hard-pressed to find another one that bad, but I'm sure, the argument can be made for something. Crazy. And this Antonio Brown guy, I wish he would have stayed in Pittsburgh. Because I think what he's done leaving Pittsburgh, going to Oakland, is that he's really opened the doors for the Steelers to focus back on football, not all this other curricular activity. I mean, last year they didn't have Le'Veon Bell. They're not going to have him again this year, and they did what they did. So Bell wasn't really the distraction, more so Antonio Brown and his relationship with Ben Roethlisberger. And I think you're going to see Big Ben have another good year. I think he will. I think he'll have a solid year. I think he's going to prove that, Antonio Brown wasn't the only thing that made him good for some of the years that he was. But Antonio Brown, you are a stink eye, if I must say so. And personally, I hope that the Raiders do take it to court and they do get your contract negated. Because you, sir, are an embarrassment and a disgrace to professional sports with your conduct. It is just terrible. The way you go and you bitched and you complained and you did all you could do to get out of Pittsburgh. You get out, you go to Oakland, and the story continues. There's no doubting that the National Football League is famous for, how shall we say it, politically correctly. We can't. Scorning certain players, right? They just can do it. They're very good at it. Colin Kaepernick, for instance, that's a whole story in and of itself, which we've covered a bit before, but you understand what I'm saying. If they don't want you in their league, you're not going to be in their league. Antonio Brown is a guy that if you're going to give that kind of a behavior to, he's a guy you should give it to. He has deserved it. Terrible. I feel bad for Raider fans. They're some of the most devout fans in all of sports. What can you say about them? Historical franchise back to the days of, Al Davis and Madden when he was there, Tom Flores, that kind of thing, the coaching. Those were good years for the Raiders. The Raiders were feared, but they played with respect, right? They played gritty. This group of nomads they have there now, I don't know. It doesn't look any better. They bring in John Gruden, which was supposed to be, he was going to come back and bring them back to life again. He hasn't done anything. right? He hasn't showed anything, and I don't think he's going to. I think he's probably one more year of this, and he'll be ready to call it quits and maybe return to the broadcast booth, which he didn't do too bad a job at. But Antonio Brown, man, what pisses you off the most with guys like that is if you're somebody like me, you've played sports, and as a kid you dreamt of becoming a pro, regardless of what your sport is: basketball, hockey, baseball, football. For me it was baseball. And always dreamt, I remember going through the streets of Clark's Harbor. There was this big building. People in Clark's Harbor know who I'm talking about, and it had Vimy Block on it. I think the Swims now have it as a lobster holding pound facility or something. Anyway, big wall there. And I used to throw the ball all the way to the ballpark, throw a ball up off the wall and catch it and think I was on the Green Monster in Fenway Park. I dreamt of wanting to play Major League Baseball, right? And then you have these guys who make it, and then they go out, and the way they conduct themselves, that I think is what infuriates you more. And the fact that they get paid to do it is even more insulting and more salt rubbed into the wound. It's tiring. It's what I understand. People who get turned off by sports and don't want to watch it. I understand it. I do. To that, I'd ask you, don't judge a book by its cover. In some cases, if that's the cover you happen to see. But the sport itself, still, you should have. If you love the sport, then find other ways at the amateur level to watch that particular sport, because it's still a great sport, right? But anyway, that's my rant today. A reminder: tonight at 5 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Atlantic, 4 in the Pacific Coast, is the Sunday Night Sports Guys NFL Preview 2019 edition, looking at a possible full house: Bladesy, T-Mac, and we're hoping that Nathaniel Lee is going to be able to make it this time for the preview. He's a big football guy. He's going to do his best to try to make it from work to get on the feed and bring him in as well. We're really looking forward to it, trying to add some graphics to the show to spice it up a little bit. I'm no computer tech by any means, but I'm reading up on some stuff, willing to try a few things. So we'll see how we can make the preview go. But look forward to seeing you, all of you who are planning to come tonight to listen. And it'll be a half hour before, the first game of the 100th season of the National Football League between the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. Should be a good one. But we're not like most preview shows. We don't do it 2-3 weeks in advance. We're right up to date. We are there, cutting edge, just before the season starts. So we look forward to that. Just a reminder that Duke's Daily is a show that I do in and of my own opinion. This does not reflect the opinions of any of the other panelists that come on and do the Sunday Night Sports Guys show. So please do not take what I say as a overview of the Sunday Night Sports Guys. This is my segment of the program, of the channel, and everything that is said here is in and of my own opinion. So if you have a problem with that, then just take it up with me, and that's good and well. One last thing: Duke's Daily is brought to you by Legends VIP Network. If you are looking to get all the sports you want, you don't want to miss any of your team's games. If your wife is a movie buff, if you like series like 24 and Games of Thrones and all this kind of stuff, if you're a big news person, you want all the major news channels. Maybe you're from another country, your origins, and you might want to see where you're from, whether it's the UK or Africa or Chile or Romania, whatever the case may be. Legends VIP Network has all your TV viewing. It is less than half, I'm going to say, for most people, than what you're already paying for cable. Karen and I just cut our cable the other day. We love Legends VIP Network. I'm going to put a link in the comments in case you want to check it out, and get in touch with me if you do. So everybody, have yourselves a great day. Look forward to seeing you tonight at the NFL Preview Show. Bye for now, and have a great day.